things didn't work out that way. So I'm still here on the streets of Oakland, as you see, and I'm back working with some agencies again. In fact, my health insurance, because of issues that I'm now having from the chemo treatment for my cancer, which I had out here, things are turning bad for me, and I'm not that terribly old. But Ken has turned his back on me. He no longer talks to me. He no longer comes by here. In fact, he's avoiding coming here because there was some graffiti on a building right here that I oversee. And I was going to let Ken know about that graffiti, and so that he can come take care of it. But I decided, well, I'm not going to say anything for a little bit because Ken could see it from the street. Well, 2 days later, I go back and look at that graffiti that was there, and it was painted over. Ken came and covered all of that graffiti up. Didn't come through the camp, say, hey, what's up? How's everything going? Didn't park here, nothing. He's avoiding me now. So, I'm just letting you folks know. He's not to be trusted. He said he had my back. But obviously he didn't have my back. Because here's the thing. I was going to set up a GoFundMe to help me cover money to get off the streets, to put myself in an extended stay for a short while I was working on getting my boat here in the Bay Area. That would have gotten me off the streets, that would have allowed me to work. In fact, at the top of May, I went and got a job. I secured work that met all my personal criteria and would work with my disabilities and would not affect my disability payments. And so I had that job locked up. All I needed to do was just get off the street. Ken kept assuring me I was going to get on that boat, so I kept believing his lies. And finally, in one of those texts that back there, you'll see, I gotta get the fuck off the street, I told him. That was my last ditch effort to get an answer out of Ken. And what I had hoped was that Ken would be upfront enough to say, you know what, I changed my mind, I'm not going to let you stay on my boat, or I can't let you stay on my boat, is all he had to say. That's all he had to say. And everything would have been cool, because then I could still had time to call my friend Ron, because my friend Ron is on the other side of the world, so I have to talk to him at 2 o'clock in the morning. And so I get up at 2 o'clock in the morning to FaceTime with my friend. But because Ken led me on again, I didn't contact my friend to send me some money so that I would have gotten off the street into an extended stay and continue working on getting my boat. Because Ken lied to me and I didn't get off the street. That employer called me back. This has been a month now that employer held that job for me. I couldn't start because I can't leave here. As you know, when you're homeless, when you have some valuables of any kind, you can't leave them just sitting here. They'll be gone. You won't come back to anything. So I couldn't start that job. They just said, well, we got to give it to somebody else. So I lost my chance at going back to work to keep myself off the street, Ken hurt me there financially. Um, so when Ken did that, I want to tell you something, folks. Some of you know that I had a financially devastating event happen to me back in 2008, before I became homeless. I was actually a multimillionaire. I had plenty of money in the bank. I had a home right here in the Grand Lake area of Oakland. I had a 30-foot boat sitting at the dock in Berkeley. I had my 26-foot express cruiser sitting on a trailer over at Grand Marina. Had my 21-foot sport boat for water skiing and wakeboarding stored also at Marina. So I had money. But then when I was devastated by financial loss of my financial institution, filing for bankruptcy, and the portion where all of my investments were in, they decided to let that die in bankruptcy. Another portion of that company, that financial institution, was saved. In fact, it was bought up by another company. And so I ended up with nothing. Ended up losing my North Carolina home. Ended up losing my cars, my trucks, my boats. I lost my boat because I took loans out on it to extend my living condition, to try and secure work, and that didn't work out. So I ended up broke. Ended up moving back to the Bay Area. Had my housing ripped away from me when my father passed away. The home was taken and sold by the courts to pay off his medical debt, which I didn't have any problem with. That put me out on the street. There's one other event before that, but that's irrelevant to this right now. But I came out onto the street. Ken saw me. He started helping me, or kind of helping me, by giving me bottles of water, talking to me a little bit. But he never really did anything other than just come and flap his gums. And that was 4 years ago. He told me back then to trust him, that he'd take care of me, stay loyal to him, that there were people that he felt were trying to steal his thunder, and that they were going to use me to steal his thunder. So he told me, don't work with any of them. Guess what? I didn't work with any of them. In fact, you'll see very little of me working with any other agency other than Ken. That's how loyal I stayed to him. And but he didn't stay loyal to me, unfortunately. So I'm here on the street. I was hurt. I was actually devastated by Ken's actions. It set me back to a time, a very dark time of my life, which was when I lost my money. And when I lost my money, I managed to survive another year, get by with stuff. 2009, I was so depressed, and I was actually suicidal. In fact, August 1st of 2009, I was going to end my life. Took my gun out with me, took a bottle of alcohol with me, went out to the Hayward marshlands, and I was watching the sunset. I had already said my goodbyes to who I wanted to say goodbye, had a great dinner that night, and went out there to watch the sunset and drink my life to its end. But God had a different plan for me. He let me drink, but drink too much. When I passed out, when I should have been ending my life, I woke up later that night to Hayward Police and East Bay Regional Parks. They took me in. They took my gun. There is a report on file at the Hayward Police Department of my suicide attempt, and they did release me, but then that was the closest I came to actual suicide, and the only reason why I didn't do it that night was because I passed out, and then law enforcement found me. Ken put me right back in that same place right after that event. And I want you to know that. I truly want you to know that I had seriously considered ending my life right after Ken did that. And Ken hurt me. I was in a very dark place. In fact, I had 3 friends contact me because I didn't do my broadcast. And they were concerned for me. And they heard what my voice and my mood, and it took them several days to talk me out of killing myself, because I was truly there. And because now here, the only person that you thought that you could trust out here turned his back on me, stabbed me in the back. He won't even speak to me now. He doesn't come by here. What's up with that? What did I do? So, like I said, I almost ended my life. It took my friends to convince me not to. In fact, the main reason why I didn't is because they are the ones who provided the encouragement to provide this video, so that you know, the general public knows about Ken Houston, that he is not who he says he is. I'm left with no choice but to do this. Ken, this all could have been avoided. On a personal note, you and me, we were good. All you had to do was just say, no, I can't let you live on my boat. Would have been in. That would have been fine. We'd still be friends. It'd be cool. But I'm really saddened by the way the things have turned out here. So all of this should have been avoided. I tried to be as honest and upfront with Ken and all of you as possible. I'm going to make this video available on my personal page like it is here. It'll also be on my vlog, The Journey Home, and it's going to be posted to YouTube. So there's no escaping this, Ken. You hurt me. You devastated me. In fact, you nearly cost me my life. So I have nothing to lose. You, Ken, on the other hand, have everything to lose. Your reputation, your friends. I hate to do this to anybody, but with what he's caused and the hurt and pain and the setback that he has caused me, I have to do this. So in closing, Ken Houston, son of Oakland, is not who he makes himself out to be. Everyone beware of Ken Houston. That's my warning.